Good.
Serious.
Well, I'm still recovering from vacation, but I've got why my hair, a lot on my mind. We went to Maine for a couple of weeks. First trip without the kids. Yeah. But it's kind of big trip. What do I mean? Just that, Southwest coast or southeast coast. There for 25 years. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so we went from Kennebunkport up to Bar Harbor, so just that. We tried to find the smallest routes possible. You go through Penn. Yeah.
Is there anybody on Zoom?
Before I went.
Nobody's on, okay.
Feels like everything's studied that, yeah, right? Which is fine.
7:30, say we get the meeting started. So I've been tasked with doing a little bit, we're gonna get the meeting. David, John, let's get the meeting started. Just thank you. They wanted me to use a gavel and I've refused to use.
Oh, okay.
I was close. You know, I saw Mary Jo do it once and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Anyway, so, do a roll call, and I've been tasked to do a little bit of a better job at doing roll call. So I'm literally gonna call out the names and then see if the people say they're here or not. I think it's just a little bit better. So Alborn is not here, I'll say that. He just got back from vacation and he will not be here for this meeting. Jerry Good? Here. Eric Cabrera? Here. John Gamelke? Here. George Jones? Here. David Maharis?
Here.
John Hugh?
Here.
Sarah Salazar is with her mother. They have some appointments that they need to keep, some personal issues. So she texted me last night and said she would not be here. So Jerry, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? I would do the approval of the October 7th meeting minutes, but Al Bourne is not here and I didn't get with him to see if he had a chance to go over those. So can we postpone that until our next meeting, or how would I move forward with that?
I know that there's a reliance on Alborn to double check it, but if it's not here, then technically you're not really supposed to wait for them.
Okay,
So
okay.
If anyone else has an objection to them or wants to make a change, then.
Now's the time.
I don't see anything.
So I move that we would approve the meeting minutes. We need to,
And so Jerry, you were not here for the October meeting. Was everyone else here for October? Oh, just making sure we had a quorum of the people on board here.
Okay.
So that you just moved to October.
okay.
You had a second?
Rare second, first.
He already said.
I know. Oh, you looking?
Well, we need to approve the minutes, so we'll take a vote on that, right?
So good, Eric.
Career.
Gamelke, yes.
Jones, yes.
Mijares, yes. You, yes.
Thank you. Public comment only on matters that are on the agenda. Anybody have anything? Nobody? All right. Says to make it to being a quick meeting, I hope. Doubtful. But good morning, Aaron, by the way. You look tired, Aaron.
Oh.
All right, unfinished business. We have the Tava TIF agreement application. And Josh, I'm gonna ask you to guide us in this, please.
Yeah, happy to. So as the board knows, the
Tava House Properties LLC submitted its TIF application. The documents were provided at the October meeting for review to open the TIF discussion among the board. As you are aware, a TIF is a decision made by the board of the DDA on whether or not it wants to, one, approve entering into negotiations for a TIF agreement. And then two, actually approving a TIF agreement once it's been prepared and drafted after negotiations have occurred. At this point in time, you've received information from the TIF applicant. You are able to continue discussion today on your thoughts as a board and individual board members on the application materials submitted. You could potentially move to either approve entering into negotiations with the TIF applicant. There is not a TIF agreement that has been finalized after negotiations, so you wouldn't be approving a TIF agreement today. But that's where you are right now. So you're able to continue deliberations, discussions. You can ask the applicant for more information. If the applicant wants to come forward and provide you information, they can as well.
Does anybody have any thoughts on this? No?
And I will jump in and say that it's known that yesterday was a special meeting that was was posted to the public and noticed to the public, but the executive session itself was held behind closed doors, so y'all could receive legal advice and discuss in general negotiation potentially. So while there was no official action that was taken, there was no official decision that was made. In general, you are able to basically point out what it is that you would like to have information wise that you might have discovered yesterday just from legal advice that was provided to you. And then you can also instruct our office to provide you different options. You can instruct our office to enter into negotiations even before you actually decide to approve a TIF agreement. It's a very flexible, situation, application.
Right. And I think there are some portions of this and some parts of the ask that we need to make sure that the public is aware of and folks understand, what's happening here. And one of those things I think is the request is looking for some kind of reimbursement for costs that are being done to public roadways, if you will, right? So there's an ask for some alleviation of some of the expense that is being incurred for decel lanes. Maybe there's curb and ADA stuff, I don't know. So I would like to find out more about that. I think that would be fair.
Could we have a representative maybe clarify that for us?
Yeah, I think that would be good. I was actually hoping you were there yesterday just so we could find out more about it, but
Yeah, and feel free to ask any questions. And,
Yeah.
Between the Tava group and myself, I can get the technical stuff.
I think one of the things so thank you for that, David. I think one of the things we were discussing, just trying to understand, is the difference between what was originally agreed on in the purchase agreement versus what CDOT has kind of I guess burdened the project with. Is there a delta in there?
I wouldn't believe there's a delta in there as are you thinking expansion of CDOT improvements?
Yeah, going into the project, there was a certain expectation of, and there was an agreement between the DDA and the property owners or owners to be that there were going to be improvements, infrastructure improvements around that property. But then, you know, was there something beyond that?
And I'll let the Tava group speak to their agreements with the DDA about the scope of the improvements, 2.5 years ago or whenever that was purchased. But as far as the evolution of CDOT improvements, it's kind of a constant work through the process until you're completed.
Okay,
So, part of that is, approval of the traffic study, which kind of defines recommended improvements. And then there's the process of working with CDOT to finalize the scope of what they want to see on the improvements.
okay,
And so timeframes, that scope of improvements with CDOT probably wasn't finalized until June, July of 2025. But I think that was, well after any agreements with the DDA group.
yeah. Understood, okay.
So kind of on top of what he's saying, did Tava not expect any? I mean, most builders would know that there's going to be some ask, especially for a project where that's located from CDOT, yes? Like up front, that as a builder, it's gonna be horizontal and they're gonna be asking you to do some improvements to the road for entries, yes? And
Okay.
exits,
I mean, it's anticipatable that there are gonna be improvements.
yes,
But the scope of the improvements and the details of the improvements aren't gonna be finalized
Right.
until you get through that rigorous
Right.
process of
Right.
CDOT.
and then does the purchase from the city of the old, I guess we call it the old propane farm or whatever it is, that little property there, and that coming to the future, does that change anything from CDOT's perspective? Has that triggered them looking at it again and maybe saying, well, maybe if this happens, we can ask for a little bit less now?
Really, I think the only thing that could possibly affect is the length of the westbound left turn lane,
Mhm.
which, honestly, when you look at that leftbound turn lane, it was deficient prior to even Tava House being started. And that's kind of the way CDOT is looking at it, that those improvements were deficient, once that road was put in and the hardware store went in and DDA
Hmm.
pursued filing one. If you
Mhm.
look at that traffic report, it pushes any responsibility on the next phase of development.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it was deficient prior to that based on their traffic warrants. And so that's kind of the issue is, these improvements have always been required. And they're likely to be required no matter what changes we make. I think what we're looking at with the city is none of us wanted to lose the eastbound left turn movement, which is required for the lengthening of that lane.
Mhm.
And so that issue has kind of come to light that if the city reconfigures their proposed park and adds an additional leftbound turn lane into that area, how much that affects it. And unfortunately, I've been working with the traffic engineer to try to get those counts redone, and I haven't gotten them yet. But assumption is because of the existing deficiency, even adding an additional left turn lane, it's still gonna be deficient, and CDOT's gonna want their proposed improvements through there.
Good information.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
So David, just so we're clear, what I'm hearing you say is that the Tava Group Properties purchased the property in order to develop it. As they were going through their application for development and they went to CDOT, CDOT said, based on the traffic studies that we have, you're going to be needing to make these improvements for the the westbound left turn lane. What's the intersection for that one?
Center?
It's still at center.
It's at
but
center,
The
okay.
problem is the length of it
Need to be
leads
longer.
into the intersection to the east of that.
Gotcha. And the traffic studies that they were looking at and everyone has been relying on basically showed that that was already deficient. It was already an issue that needed to be addressed, and it basically was just pushed onto the next developer, whoever was coming along to develop the property on that side.
Correct.
Okay. So it's not necessarily that Tava has created itself this need for this improvement. It's just basically the catalyst and trigger that, okay, that is helpful.
That existing intersection was deficient, and I think if you were to restudy, all of downtown traffic, which I think you've talked about doing, Aaron, to try to get a more holistic approach to traffic development in Woodland Park. If you look at the way it was laid out when they originally put the medians in, they're all equal length, equal distant, with no priority towards traffic movement taking place. And so I think what they're gonna find is they're all kind of deficient in their own way. It's just too many turn movements off of Highway 24 based on the intersection spacing.
Okay, thank you.
God, you're getting me in trouble. Looking around to see if people have anything to say.
So
You can get yourself in trouble. I don't know.
David, maybe you or somebody from the Tava group could clear this up. I know that there were timeframes in the original agreement about phase 1 and 2. Can you give us that time frame, and how much has this impacted your ability to meet that time frame?
I mean, there were timeframes with the initial timeframe that I think they're pretty close to meeting. Being really only the responsibility for, the Tava House, the first building, the first commercial use on the property.
Mhm.
The second timeframe was tied to the interior infrastructure and those items. And so they've completed that second timeframe with this first phase of development. And so, once they're paved, which I think paving is next week on the interior, they'll have completed both initial phases 1 and 2, with the final phase being anything south of Saddle Club Drive.
Okay, so even with this unknown issue coming up with CDOT, you guys were still able to meet the timeframes that were in the original? Because I know that was a question that was brought up, so
Yeah, so they're well ahead of what was
outstanding.
originally proposed in I forget the name of the document, but the original, purchase commitment was
Right,
to move forward at this phase schedule, and they're ahead of it by a phase.
perfect.
And does that include the development of lot 2? What is now lot 2 based on the most recent subdivision? So lot 1 is the north lot being developed.
I think we'd have to look at the specific agreement, but I think what it states is that it's, pad ready. And so those are pad ready sites at this point. We've stubbed utilities to them and
Oh.
graded them.
For lot 2.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
And it is also lot 3
2 and 3. Yeah.
have also, okay.
Which 3, I don't remember which one's 2 and 3, but 2 I would believe is the
West side.
west side and 3 is the southeast corner of the interior
Yes,
parcel.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, just from me, and let me know if this is no, we're not ready for this. I am comfortable making a motion to enter into negotiations, but I think we need to ask legal for maybe some little more narrow guidelines to operate in, maybe a couple options of how we can work this out for the Tava group.
yeah, of course, we can definitely, so if there is a motion to enter into negotiations, and you also want our office to provide you your different deal structure options, we can definitely provide that for you. We can, I mean, you can honestly do a deal in a lot of different ways, so we can try to keep it to a more of a basic underlying, here's the different types of options, deal structure could fall under. Within the restraints of using TIF and only TIF, monies for any kind of, agreement structure. So yeah, we can do that.
I think it's important too that we go back and look to the original agreement of what lot 1 and 2 look like as far as we need to look into that for sure, because I don't remember if it was just pad ready or if it was beyond that. And so we definitely want to look into that as well.
And I think, John, what's important is really, if you look at that second phase, it's the goal of infrastructure, right? And they've gone over and above phase one infrastructure with this phase that they've done. And I think was the real goal of the city, to make sure they're not trying to build out without doing infrastructure.
Right.
So they've exceeded that.
And David, I could speak on that too. I'm the planner. I'm the senior planner here with the city of Woodland Park. David was right. So with the original agreement, it was just pad ready. So utilities are stubbed out and all the infrastructure. I forget the street names off the top of my head, but all the sidewalks, streets leading up to all the way around lot 1, 2, and 3 should all be done. So.
And I'm glad you're here,
That
because I
was
do
my
have a
big-
question
yeah,
for you as well.
yeah.
So
Was sticking to.
in the packet materials that Tava provided for the October 7th meeting, they provided a map basically that was shaded in blue that basically showed the improvements that they were looking for TIF on. It was very clear that some of those improvements were the CDOT improvements, so the ones that are along the highway. Then there's some improvements that look like they were already part of the original plan agreement. Those that were part of the original plan agreement, are they to be private and ultimately owned by Tava, or are they supposed to be dedicated to the city at a point in time, so that then the city becomes obligated for maintenance obligations and costs? And what is that time period?
Yeah, as far as the dedication goes, I believe the city will be taking that over and will be dedicated to the city of Woodland Park from the Tava Group after it's constructed and inspected and meets our specifications.
Is there a warranty period for it?
2 years is the standard that we do per our engineering specifications,
Okay, and those,
or 1 to 2 years is the
okay.
yeah. warranty
For
period.
those improvements, were those part of the original deal with Tava and the,
They were.
okay.
Yep.
And I noticed, as part of the records, that the agreement for purchase price was a fair value, not a fair market value. I can only assume that that was because the cost of those improvements were part of the original deal with Tava, or is that incorrect? And if you can't speak. to
Yeah,
that,
I
have
don't
to
think I
ask
can
someone
speak
else.
on that. Yeah.
Or, I mean, Tava, if you have any idea on that too, that's helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, we had no idea the scope of all these public improvements. When we started this 3 years, remember we were doing the competition with the other group to develop. We did not know how far this was going to go. When we originally looked at doing this, it was just going to be our little Tava restaurant site and Bergstrom Alley and the public parking and sidewalks on Center Street. What it evolved into, we all want to do this, city, us, and DDA, it's evolved into this, what we call the Loop Road, which is the extension of Saddle Club, South Pine Street, and all the work that CDOT's required of us. And we just 3 years ago, we just didn't know all that was going to be in the mix. So the context is you got this land that we want to kick off. And as we worked with the city staff and seeing how the design of it would be good for the entire development, all the Woodland Station, all the downtown, that's when we decided to do the Loop Road. It makes a lot of sense. It looks great. It makes us pad ready. So that's why we're doing all this work. We are presenting to you, the group here, the board, that all these items, construction items, are hard bids. They're not soft costs, which that's significant too. These are hard bids for the construction of all these public improvements. And if I could take just a minute more, Chairman.
Of course.
I've looked at all the TIF agreements and reviewed them, and they're kind of all over the place over many years, right? What seems applicable to our deal and our group is the AJ's Pizza, Red Baron Car Wash, and the Trail Ridge Apartments. I looked at all those eligible public improvements that are eligible for reimbursement. And we're right in line with those. So it's already set a precedent for what we're asking for. And that's what we're presenting. We're not trying to fluff this up or anything. It's just hard numbers for all this infrastructure that we're having, to public infrastructure. Is there anything I missed, Brooke, about that y'all want to touch on?
Mark, may I ask a
Please.
clarification? So
Yep.
sorry. You mentioned AJ's and
Red Baron Car Wash, that's,
and then you said you were in line with those, but
all the items that were approved for, public improvement reimbursement.
okay.
So
you just-
stormwater and drains and sidewalks and street lamps and all that sort of thing.
Okay, got it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Can I just make a comment about?
Please.
that? According to what you provided yesterday, that meeting statutory requirements, policy guidelines or other criteria listed herein does not guarantee the provision of TIF financial assistance, nor does the approval or denial of one project set precedent for approval or denial of another project.
Mhm.
And I'm just pointing that out.
Okay.
That while it's, you would think, I understand where you're coming from. but
Yes, sir.
The fact is that isn't valid.
Correct. If you're saying that precedent is not controlling of the board's decision on whether or not it's going to grant a TIF agreement. Yes.
Excuse me, can I answer that? It would, yes. What we are asking for is reasonable and fair. And not out of bounds. So we would say that it's, I would use the words right in line for what's already been provided to others in the community. And we're talking about, we're talking about Woodland Station and all this downtown thing. This is a significant development for the vision of the DDA and what our town wants to see. From taking this vacant piece of land that's been sitting there to this kind of vision, we are seeing how important it is for the whole community.
I got a question for you, Josh. Is it based on the numbers provided, the 1.4?
Yeah, it's almost 1.5 million.
Yeah. Is that even doable in a 5-year TIF agreement? Even if we did find that?
I believe, are you asking, is it possible that there would be TIF revenues that were high enough to actually make payments over a 5-year period to get to 1.4 million?
Yes.
I don't think that it could ever get there, but we would, if the board was to instruct us to move forward with negotiations, we would work on an agreement that made it very clear that whatever percentage the board decided to approve, if anything, wouldn't be an obligation as a total without, as a total repayment. It would be structured on this is what you get over 5 years, whatever that different or amount is TIF. So for example, if you were to say that over the 5-year period, the TIF revenue equal to 250,000, which is way short of 1.4 million. And if they were to be approved with a deal that gave them 100% of that TIF over 5 years, then the language in the agreement would say you get 250,000. But what it would really say is you get 100% of the TIF that is actually recovered over a 5-year period that's specific to your property alone. But again, that would go into more of our ability to provide different deal structures as part of negotiations.
And correct me if I'm wrong, within that deal structure, could we put in that they could apply if we do not sunset, that they could reapply and with the new DDA for additional?
you could put that into an agreement that would say that it would be subject to.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Did you guys understand his ask? Did you understand what Jerry was asking? Mark, did you have any questions about that? Because
And that's.
it has come up, so that,
Yep.
so the DDA is, as everybody knows, is scheduled to sunset now, I believe in 2032.
32, right.
So all obligations from the DDA for a TIF deal would sunset with that.
Yep.
And then nobody would be, the DDA alone is responsible for that. That wouldn't then go to the city to pay you back any difference.
Okay.
And so the TIF deals start, and I'm new at this as
Yeah.
well, and so please.
I'm
keep
curious
me-
about it too, so.
So
Yeah.
what happens is you have to start paying taxes first.
Yep,
And then that's what you get reimbursed from is the money that you pay in.
yes.
If you don't pay, if say in that 5 or 6 year timeline,
Mhm.
you only paid in $250,000
Mhm.
and we approved 100%.
Yep.
That's what you would get back.
Got it.
And nobody would be responsible for the 1.4 or 1.5 million.
Okay. Hmm.
That's what that is. It's not like the DDA just says, we'll just write you a check for 1.5 million because you asked for it.
So when the
It doesn't
DDA,
work that way.
when it sunsets, it
Done.
ceases to exist.
Yes.
So there's no vehicle to take the reimbursement, get the funds from.
So I've not been a part of this process and I'm sure some others have, and I'll only speak for the little bit that I know. If it were to continue, it would be a new DDA reappointed by council and everything would start over again. And then from my understanding from the little bit that we've been talking about it, so, people could come back to the new DDA for a new agreement.
Okay.
But it would be a new DDA.
Okay.
Does that, did I say it pretty much right, Josh?
Pretty much there. I
Yeah.
mean, you're already paying property taxes. I don't
Yep.
think you want us to imply that you're not.
Right.
Those
Correct.
property taxes are based off of the assessed value of the land
Mhm.
and a percentage thereof.
Yep.
As your assessed value increases as you develop that building, the difference between the base value of the land, so let's just say what you're paying now, difference between that and once you're fully built out and
Yep.
completed, that tax increment difference
Yep.
is what would go to pay you if they approved it
Yep.
for the public infrastructure.
Yep.
Because it's benefiting the public.
Yep.
Those taxes are usually spread between multiple districts, between the city, between school, between fire.
Ambulance, all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
When a DDA is formed, it basically takes the difference between the undeveloped land
Mhm.
or could be dilapidated development.
Yeah,
The difference between that and what the new development assessed value is.
Mhm.
And it takes pretty much all of that and puts it into a fund that the DDA can then use to continue to better and improve the downtown area. Once the DDA sets or sunsets, those tax revenues no longer flow into the DDA.
Okay.
They then go back to everyone else. So therefore, those revenues no longer exist as a payment form,
Yep.
which is why you wouldn't really continue an agreement past 2032.
Yeah, so, okay, some of the previous agreements had timeframes in them. 10 years, 15 years, one of them had 20 years in there. So what we're talking about is a 5-year timeline for reimbursement.
I mean, it would have to stop at 2032.
Yep, so,
You couldn't go past it.
yeah, so we'll,
And the other ones that are 10 or 15 years is because the DDA, when it's formed, is a
Right.
30-year.
totally had all that
Yeah.
time ahead of.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
I think it would have to stop at 2031 just because of when the sunset date is. I don't think
Correct.
there'd be any revenues to support 2032, but
So in the and this is just an open conversation. So in the negotiations, we could propose a timeline that is outside the bounds of the DDA. Is it possible for the DDA to have a fund that anticipates our reimbursements and disperse those over 7 years?
The DDA itself, no.
Okay. Is it something the city might could do?
We definitely cannot, as a city, do
Okay.
any type of business
Okay.
incentive, so no.
Okay, so
Business
then it
plan will not
becomes
be-
a set amount then that we're probably talking about over the next 4 years.
Well, 5, technically, yeah, till the
Okay,
end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5.
And that's why we're asking our legal to
Yep.
come up with some
Yep.
different scenarios and
That
for
makes
those
sense.
numbers to see what it looks like, because the exact number, we don't know. We have an idea, but we don't know the exact numbers.
Yeah, so the valuation on all this is gonna be north of 9.5 million when we put a key in the door and open.
So does that include, and that's just for phase 1 and 2, or? are
That's
you
just the
tr-
restaurant, all the utilities and all the pad ready work.
pad
that
ready,
they
yeah,
have.
yeah.
It's all that.
No,
It's a chunk.
it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
No.
quite the delta.
It's great. No, it's great.
But really, any reimbursement amount that's considered is based off of the tax differential on the
Correct.
parcels.
Yes,
Just on the
Yep.
internal parcels.
yes. And in a sense, if you had started this 15 years ago, then. But
Exactly.
it's, yeah,
That would have been great for us all.
no, I understand.
I think it was started.
I feel like. I know, that's kind of, maybe that's bad news, but it is just the reality of it.
I think exactly. It's just the reality of it.
Yeah, it's not something that we did. That's just the reality of the DDA sunsetting. It's not. And your questions were I could understand why yeah. Does anybody else have anything else on this? I don't wanna, John, do you have anything? George, do you?
I'm good.
So what would the ask be for our legal? Does somebody want to try to phrase that?
You just, you do it in a motion form.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we enter into negotiations with Tava in reference to a TIF deal and seek at least 3 to 4 different deal structures. And me personally, I would like to see in those deal structures it worded for the Tava Group to have the ability to come back if the DDA does not sunset, to be able to approach the new DDA board for an additional TIF investment.
And I'm sorry, was that a motion? Did you?
Yes.
Okay, second.
So you'll call a vote. Basically on the motion instructing us to enter into negotiations with the Tava Group for a TIF agreement. At the same time, preparing 3 to 4 different deal structure options for y'all to consider as part of those negotiations. Within that, including what it would look like for Tava to be able to, I don't really want to say come back, but be able to enter into negotiations on a new agreement with the DDA if it doesn't sunset.
Correct.
Which means that any agreement you would enter into, if you do decide to, would terminate at the point in time needed to make sure that there's no
And then-
additional
right.
obligation for the DDA at the point in time when it doesn't have funds.
Yeah, because with the sunsetting, we would have to close that out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it would be a new DDA appointed by council.
Yeah.
So they would have to come back and basically start from scratch on a TIF deal, if there was a new one. If there was a new one.
Yeah.
And John, are you good with the pad ready now after with CJ and?
As long as it meets, I think so, especially as long as it meets what we entered into originally. And it sounds like it does. Is that right, young man?
Yeah, I just wanna, with the original plan of development that was done 3 years ago, that Mark was referencing. That didn't go really in depth as far as like what infrastructure, that was kind of more of an idea base, that's just the plan of development. Where we entered into the agreement with the infrastructure specifically was during the final plating stage.
Mhm.
So that was during the subdivision development agreement, which has been recorded and signed by all parties. So original agreement, not the plan of development done, but the subdivision development
Yeah,
agreement
I
done
think the
during the final
SDA
plat.
was-
I thought it was tied to phase 1 and 2, that there was, I don't know the proper words, but if I remember right, it was like, we're gonna do phase 1 and 2 up front, right? And then the rest is gonna be developed as it goes.
Do you?
Is that
Yes.
correct?
The plan of development had much longer timeframes for phase 2. But it developed that they wanted to be more aggressive in pursuing.
Yeah,
Infrastructure.
gotcha, okay.
So when David was talking about phase 1, I mean, with the subdivision development agreement, it's just like for any subdivision in the city, whether it's a commercial or a residential. When you're building a residential subdivision, you're putting in all the infrastructure.
Yes.
So all of those residential lots are pad ready, and this is no different.
Yes, okay, thank Kelly, did you have some, can you?
Good morning. I just want to share, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not a new DDA board, it's an extension of the organization, the DDA as a body. We have done this once before, and it's just a continuation of what is. It's not a new board, it's not a new anything, it's just an extension of your life. Correct.
Can I add one thing? So I've read through the agreements on how the extension would work. This council could just do a straightforward, we're gonna extend the DDA in its current form. The council could also take certain entities out of the DDA agreement, from what I understand. And so it could be a new DDA board entirely. It depends
could
on
be,
what
sure.
the council decides. But yeah, if the council just decided to extend it, then it would just be the same board.
Right, right. And really and it may be a new board, it may be this or that, but it's still the Downtown Development Authority. It's still under the same statute guidance. So it's not necessarily all brand new, but yes, the council can do what they care to do, always, typically. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because in the past, we just continued on and extended the life. It wasn't for a long period of time, and I don't remember exactly when that happened, but just know that it's not necessarily all brand new.
So has this current DDA been extended? Because I thought it was a 30-year. So this has been here for more than 30 years?
I believe we did do I think we did about a 5-year extension. I can't remember when that was, or we discussed it. My memory is not always pure and clean, but we have had this conversation in the past, and there are options available to the council. It just does, I just don't want anyone to think that it's a cut and dry new DDA board or a new DDA organization.
We've been told, and perhaps in light of that, we've been told by our legal that all the obligations, all the TIF deals that we entered would stop when DDA sunsets.
Absolutely.
So would that still be true if it were extended?
And so
That's an interesting, thank you for.
what we have to operate on when we're entering into negotiations and entering into agreements is what exists and is current today. Today, there is no action of council that extends the DDA organization past its Colorado statutory automatic deadline of sunsetting at 30 years. So that's what we operate under. We're not going to enter into an agreement that crosses our fingers and hopes that DDA would extend. So we just work with the facts we have today.
Sure.
But of course, I mean, if the council was to extend the DDA for another, by statute, 20-year period, you do have other entities that do get a say or get to appoint board members, so your numbers actually increase. But that doesn't mean that the agreement couldn't contemplate what that would look like if that was to occur. But when it comes to actual obligation of payment of TIF, it would stop until such an extension occurred. You know what I mean? And if 3 years from now, 2 years from now, city council decided to go ahead and extend the DDA, there would be a provision in your agreement that would allow for amendments. So maybe at that point in time, you could even look at doing an amendment. But again, that's all part of negotiations.
Yeah, that obligation cannot pass to the city because the city 9.7 of the charter forbids us from any incentivizing anything at all. And so it could not continue and be the obligation of the city. That's why you all are in place, because you can do that. That was the intention initially when it was created. So anyway, I just wanted to share those thoughts.
One conversation that I had was somebody said that the whole intent, and I'm not naming any names, just a conversation I had, the whole intent of the DDA was to get that property developed. That specific property, like get the long-term goal. And it seems like that's happened. So I don't know what the flavor of city council or anybody is. I do know that without a DDA, there is no incentives. Because like she just said, the city can't do that, but I don't know if that is a driver or not. It seemed to me in that conversation, the driver was, well, now that property's been developed, Saddle Club's getting developed, so we don't need the DDA anymore. That was and that was just one conversation, but it was an interesting, anyway. It's interesting. I'm glad that you said that. Thank you for giving us that information. Because that does kind of change the dynamics of things, even in the negotiations, yes. Like to leave it open as a possibility.
No. No.
It doesn't change it now, I guess, but if it, in 3 years, she said, if the council decided to extend DDA, then it could change it, yes?
I think Josh had indicated that, legal had indicated that we could make a provision through the negotiation to be amended.
Yes.
So that they can amend, but that.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
yeah,
But we're still marching towards a sunset. That's
yeah.
hard. It's a hard wall right now.
And just to clarify, right now, there's a motion that has been made and seconded that is to instruct us to enter negotiations with Tava. And this is relevant to our
Yes.
negotiations, so I appreciate the information for that. But instructing your legal team to enter into negotiations with Tava, and then also to provide the 3 to 4 different deal structure options that included the Tava ability to come back to the DDA if it is extended.
I got a question.
Yes,
Is by voting yes for this, does that mean we're gonna offer a TIF, or is
no,
it
we can,
just-
the option of no is still on the table. All options are still on the table. Is that correct, Josh?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there?
We already had a second.
Yeah.
Should I take a vote on this now?
Is there any other
Is there any other
deliberation?
discussion? Anybody have?
Just a kind of a point of order, because I'm gonna
Yes.
abstain
Okay.
on all issues for, voting for the Tava House
Okay.
group. Do we have enough people to
Do we have
do
quorum?
a vote?
Yeah, 5
Okay.
of 7.
Well, 2 people aren't here.
Yeah, you have a quorum.
Okay.
Make me do math.
I know.
I use my fingers.
Good?
Voting?
Yes.
Good, yes.
Cabrera, yes.
Gamelke, yes.
Jones, yes.
Mihatis abstain?
Yes.
Okay. And so again, what you've just approved is basically a motion instructing us to enter into negotiations, but there has not been an approval or a official action of the board saying that you will approve TIF. Okay.
Correct. And it's, just so you guys know, there's not a huge rush. We just have to get it done before you get your CO, and we're aware of that. And so we just need a little bit more time to see what it looks like. And a lot of information came out today, so I hope you guys can just bear with us through the process. Is that fair?
Yep.
Thank you. Now, I'm gonna ask if you might come up and give us an update, please. One of you, somebody from your group. And we're super excited. It looks
This is the
awesome.
fun stuff. So
Hear the noise all day. It's wonderful. So,
I'd like to introduce Chris Hansen. He is our owner's rep. He is on site every day.
yeah.
He's spent most of his life up there now. So I'd like him to give an update, please. Chris Hansen.
Thank you.
So far, we're moving expeditiously. All your trades are probably on a rough-in state of 90%, meaning, we have a gas meter now. The gas is done, the electric is getting close on the rough-in. We have, selective insulation going on at this point. Curb and gutter is in. And we're hoping to pave either Friday or early next week. The walk-in boxes are going in as we speak, and all the place is dried in, and it's moving, like I said, quite expeditiously.
The weather has really been in our favor. It's really been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Chris? I just feel like it's awesome hearing all that noise going on and seeing all that construction going on. It's pretty cool. Yeah, if you ask me. Does anybody else have any? No.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Chair,
Yes, of course.
if anybody wants a tour of the building, will you let us know? Derek, Mary, Chris, me. I think this week is not a good week. Next week and ongoing would be better if you want to take a tour. But you will need somebody to kind of lead you around the property, and especially if you're going to go inside. Okay.
Thank you.
And that goes for city staff, anybody, Pat, anybody who wants to go in there.
Next would be the grant program. So, Josh? Did everybody get a chance to, everybody got the emails? Did everybody approve those? We've signed them. So.
All right, so there are 5 final reports that were received that are before you in packets and part of your packet. Sorry, I was taking notes on our TIF instructions. Let me get to my documents. Okay, so Model Citizen Coffee Company has asked for approval and payment of $4,807.09. That is the reimbursable costs. They were approved for a grant up to 5,000, so they actually came in a little bit under. So those materials were provided in the packet for them, showing the pictures of the post improvements and their itemized receipts. If there is a motion to approve the payment of the $4,807.09, the motions are in the packet materials as well, if you'll have those in front of you.
Can we just approve them all at once, Josh?
We haven't been doing that.
We have not?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't have to.
I don't think in this one that there are any conflicts of interest. Is that correct?
Well, that's true.
I think that's the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time we didn't do that because there were so many
Right.
conflicts
Oh,
of
that's
interest.
right.
And this one with the, just checking all the amounts that were approved. So in this one, the Model Citizen Coffee Company is the only one that's not the full grant amount. So if you wanted to do a motion to approve it at the amount of $4,807.09 and to approve the other 4 applications for the full grant amount, as long as no one has any objections to any of the materials that were provided as part of the final reports for those. Again, y'all should be looking at those receipts, confirming that y'all don't have any questions or issues with them. So that's one reason why we take these individually sometimes, is because if there is an objection to anything on an individual application.
I went through them, so I'll make a motion to approve Model Citizen Coffee at $4,807.09 and Black Key Leasing, Elevation Estates, the Callahan, Jimmy John's at 5,000
Each.
each. Second,
Jerry,
Yes.
Cabrera, yes.
Gamelke, yes.
Jones, yes.
Miharis, yes.
Hugh, yes. Thank you.
Hey, John. can
Yes,
I-
sir.
Thanks for your help getting Mary Jo
Yep.
through.
No
That
problem.
was- That was really good.
It was a big, big building.
Yeah.
Big paint. Aaron, are you willing and ready to give us a report on the Bergstrom Park Master Plan?
Yes, we thank you so much for the partnership and the DDA to be able to do this master plan. So I've invited our Park and Rec Director, Cindy, to give us a little bit of an overview of the presentation that was presented to council and adopted. And I think you'll be pretty excited and pleased with the end product here.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to present the Reimagine Bergstrom Park Master Plan. The master plan project started in May of this year. Staff, Project Advisory Committee, members along with the consultant Logan Simpson, conducted 2 community meetings and online comment periods. We had over 90 attendees at our community meetings. We received over 700 views on the online commenting, with 60 comments total on that platform. City Council passed a resolution adopting the Bergstrom Park Master Plan in September. And this view here you're looking at is Highway 24 and Center Street looking southwest. This is your angle from Highway 24, the recently acquired property looking southeast. And this next one's very, very busy, but it's fun because it shows all the amenities that will be included in the master plan. We have park improvements, additional parking. The park improvements include a new entrance sign, shade structure, updated picnic area and restroom shelter, ADA access to the Midland Depot, a couple of small play areas, a Pikes Peak viewing area, and then there are a total of 72 proposed parking spaces to include ADA, RV, van, and EV charging stations. Here's just a little bit closer look so you can see those amenities a little bit closer where it's not so congested. And then just another view of the parking areas, not so congested. And that's really my presentation, but I wanted to ask you if you had any questions, if you want to look at any of these slides a little bit closer. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have one question.
Sure.
On the newly acquired property from the city that, when do you think that might happen as far as that actually opening up for parking and actually being done in the whole scope of the park?
That's going to be a little bit of a longer term conversation in terms of, first, we're going to go probably in February, get design bids to see what this is all going to actually cost. We got cost estimates from Logan Simpson, but we know that that's not usually very accurate.
Is it usually high or low?
It depends, actually. We've seen it both ways and it's been off by quite a bit. So we're going to go out and get real bids for the design of this, and then we'll come back and have that discussion with some updates on timing and then probably an ask from the DDA for a partnership.
Okay,
So no timelines at this point.
okay.
Yeah.
But, so when you say no timeline, so the park, it could take 3 years, 5 years, or is it something you're that the city is everybody's willing to move on quickly?
We would like to move on it as quickly as possible, but we have to be realistic. I don't have timelines to share with you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
No, it looks great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. It was a fun project and I appreciate all of you that participated in our community meetings.
yeah, thank you very much. It's kind of important. I feel like it's important it gets done.
Oh, yeah.
It adds to Tava and the whole downtown. Really does, draws people in, yeah. And then, I guess one more, sorry, the parking that is there. I do believe that I saw Tava already put in a new entry into that parking lot, yes? Is that correct? Like, they've already curbed that, right? So that when will the existing entrance into that park that's there now, when will that go away and not be in use anymore?
Yeah, that's part of our plan of development. So they're about ready to start running the sewer through the park, and that'll affect that closure. We're kind of waiting to get the interior streets paved, which will provide that secondary access before we close the existing access.
So Tava is responsible for closing off the existing access then?
Yeah, we're gonna curve across
Okay.
that and put new sidewalks.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay.
Should be weeks, couple of weeks.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions for them?
No, just a comment. Thanks for keeping the bathrooms.
Yeah, but they're different. It's not the same. Yeah.
It's time for public comment on matters not on the agenda. Does anybody have anything? Does anybody want to come up and have anything to talk about? Thank you for your input, Kelly, earlier. That was very helpful. Next for the reports, board chair report, I guess that would be, I'm super excited about everything that's happening. I like seeing all the energy downtown and all the new stuff coming up. It's very exciting. So thank you, Woodland Park, and thanks for the opportunity to let us be up here and help in whatever little way or big way, or just the fact that we can help at all is really I'm honored. So thank you for that opportunity. Eric, treasurer report, do you have anything?
Don't have anything. We did the grant money already. Nothing else.
No reimbursement for?
I'm sure we will after a few days.
And we did receive a reimbursement request for Woodland Associates, so I just sent that to the attorneys. We'll have that probably on the next agenda.
Okay, thank you. Board member reports. Jerry, do you have anything?
No reports, but a comment.
You want me to get you in trouble, so here's your chance.
No, I just think that, the conversation about sunsetting the DDA, that maybe, I think at one time there were a lot of friction going on and things, and I understand the people just saying, let's be done with it. But I think what we've been demonstrating lately is that there's much more benefit from the DDA than we realized. These mini grants and things like that can actually help the whole community as a whole, I think are pretty valuable. And I think that maybe instead of just condemning it, that maybe there should be discussion about keeping it going. I won't be here. I'm sure probably none of us will, but I think it's a good thing for the community, and I think that we should think before we just cut its head off. So just my comment.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add? No? George?
I'm good. Thank you.
David?
The only thing I have is I will be out of town for the December 2nd.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know. John?
I'm all good. Thank you for all your presentations today.
Meeting adjourned.